Hello and welcome to World 360. I'm Varnika Dhawan, and in this episode, we are beginning with the topic of France, where protests erupted on the same day as the new Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu, took oath. I will tell you more about the new Prime Minister in just a bit. First, let's look at the demonstrations. Now, these protests were led by a movement called Let's Block Everything. They took place against Macron, France's political establishment, and the scheduled budget cuts. Protests took place in Paris, Marseille, Bordeaux, and Montpellier, where traffic was disrupted and around 300 protesters were detained. As I mentioned earlier, these protests took place on the same day as a new Prime Minister was sworn in. Sébastien Lecornu is France's fifth Prime Minister in under 2 years. He was a defense minister and he has been a loyalist of President Macron. He has also served in all Macron governments since 2017. And earlier this week, Prime Minister François Bayrou, who was picked by Macron in December 2024, lost a confidence vote. He had sought backing for deficit-cutting efforts, substantial spending cuts, and a 44 billion euros package of tax increases. The new Prime Minister, who has already come under attack from the far right and the far left, has an uphill task of breaking the impasse and getting parliamentary approval for budget. Remember, this is an uphill task because Macron's centrist alliance has faced opposition ire in the French parliament, both from the left as well as the far right. And 2 prime ministers have been brought down in just a year. Now we are staying with Europe for the second story and shifting focus to Poland. On early Wednesday, NATO forces shot down a huge number of Russian drones in Poland's airspace. Poland's PM Donald Tusk called it an act of aggression by Russia. This is the first time NATO forces have directly engaged with Russia since Putin's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Tusk wrote on X that those drones that posed a direct threat were shot down. I'm in constant communication with the Secretary General of NATO and our allies. My thanks and congratulations to the Polish Operational Command and our NATO pilots for shooting down Russian drones over Poland. Actions speak louder than words, Tusk added. Russia's defense ministry, however, said that Moscow did not plan to attack any targets in Poland. The ministry added that no objects on Polish territory were planned to be targeted. The maximum range of UAVs used in the strike on Ukraine does not exceed 700 km, that is 435 miles. Nonetheless, ministry said, we are ready to hold consultations with the Polish Defense Ministry on the subject. Following this event, other NATO members also criticized the Russian move, and Article 4 of NATO was invoked. Since the Ukraine war started, there have been incidents of Russian drone and missiles debris found in Romania and Moldova. EU President, while delivering the State of the Union address, said that this was a reckless and unprecedented violation of Poland's and Europe's airspace, adding that there has to be more pressure on Russia to come to the negotiating table. Remember, Russia's offensive has gained momentum over the past week, with Moscow launching its biggest air attack. There has been little development on the Russia-Ukraine deal, which Trump has been trying to seal. Now to our last story. On Tuesday, Ethiopia's Prime Minister launched Africa's largest hydroelectric dam, known as the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. He termed it as the greatest achievement in the history of the black race. While this colossal project is considered to be of great significance to Ethiopia's economic development, it has also become a flashpoint of tensions between Ethiopia and Egypt. The $5 billion project is built on world's longest river, the Nile. The dam is situated on one of the Nile's tributaries, the Blue Nile in Ethiopia, touching the border with Sudan. GERD's construction was started in 2011. This hydroelectric dam has the energy capacity of 5.15 gigawatt. It is expected to provide over 15,700 gigawatts of electricity per year and is considered to bring down carbon emissions significantly. Its embankment stands 475 feet tall in height and stretches to 1.1 miles across the Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. The Ethiopian government has described the dam as a symbol of national unity and pride. Now let's look at why this mega dam is so momentous to Ethiopians and a bone of contention among the other downstream nations like Egypt or Sudan. Nile is a upward flowing river, meaning it flows from northeastern Africa and drains into the Mediterranean Sea. The economies of the 11 nations that lie around the Nile basin are heavily dependent on this river for farming, cultivation, irrigation, energy, and household use. Now, coming to Egypt, it is one of the most populated countries in Africa with 90 million people. Meanwhile, 95% of Egyptians live within a few miles of the Nile, and 90% of the country's fresh water needs are supplied from the Nile. Egypt and Sudan have long opposed the construction of GERD. Now, these are both located downstreams only. They claim that the dam is a threat to the country's water security as the dam blocks the water flowing to the countries, and have emphasized that filling the reservoir without a legal agreement would throw away their interest and rights. We will keep a close watch on these important developments and be back with a new episode soon. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.